When we think about newer cars, we think about all the technology that goes into them, but we rarely think about the basic things that have changed. Take the lowly spare tire, for instance, which in many cars doesn't even exist anymore. Well, to give us some pointers here, we have Tom Taylor, who is an online parts supplier. Tom, welcome to Goss's Garage.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, now, what are some of the trends that you're seeing these days?
Well, like you said, some new cars don't have a spare tire at all. For example, this Fiat has a simple air compressor and a sealant system that pumps sealant into the flat tire and hopefully seals it up, similar to the sealant you might find at a retail store.
Okay, now there's certainly a place for these sealants in an emergency, but you have to make sure that the can says that it's sensor safe if you're going to use it in a late model car. If it doesn't say sensor safe, don't use it.
Right, you wouldn't want to damage a $50 sensor with that stuff.
Okay, now, one of the things that we see a lot in the repair shop, somebody goes out and buys a used car and they don't check what's in the trunk, and we check it out for them, and there's no jack or any of the tools or anything. What can you help them with there?
Well, if you find a situation like that, or your car doesn't come with a spare, you can build your own system. You can get a jack, a lug wrench, maybe a sturdy platform to sit the jack on and start your system. And then you can get a wheel that's the same size as the original wheels on your car, a simple steel wheel or a wheel that actually matches the aluminum or fancier wheels on your car.
Okay, now, either way you go about this, if you just need the jack and a lug wrench and so on, that's really inexpensive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's $30, $50. To build a whole spare tire system can be $100 to $500, depending on what kind of tire you have and what sort of wheel, if you're using a steel wheel or a wheel that matches your others.
Okay. Well, most cars these days have this arrangement right here. This is a temporary spare. Any tips?
Well, they do what they're supposed to do. They've been around a long time. Just be sure to read those warning labels.
Okay. Well, the warning labels talk about speed and distance, and most people seem to think that that only applies to the rubber tire, but in reality, there are problems that can happen to the mechanical parts of the car if you exceed those limits.
Right. The spare may be a slightly different diameter than the other wheels, so if you have to go too fast or too long, you can damage the axle or the transmission. It can be very costly.
Not a smart move. Tom, thank you. And if you have a question or comment, drop me a line right here at Motor Week.